So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, in this video, I'm going to be going through whether the e-commerce niche is saturated or not. It is honestly one of the most common questions that I get, so that you know specifically whether the e-commerce niche is saturated or not for your SMMA, for your social media marketing agency. And also, it'll give you some more clarity as to whether or not you should dive into the e-commerce niche with your agency. Now, as always, guys, just before we jump into the video, make sure you go ahead, smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. Massively helps out with the YouTube algorithm. And with that being said, let's jump straight into the video. So I know some of you may be new to the channel or maybe new to, who I am. You don't even know what I do or anything along those lines. So basically, I run a high multiple six-figure e-commerce social media marketing agency and e-commerce agency. And I also run the world's leading e-commerce social media marketing agency program, education company, whatever it is that you want to call it. And so given that, that is my niche, the e-commerce and info product niche, and given that I've obviously got this YouTube channel, which helps thousands and thousands of agency owners get into the e-commerce niche and, get amazing results for their clients and get clients themselves and all that type of stuff, I do get asked this question a lot. Is the e-commerce niche saturated? Now, if you don't want to sit through, watch the whole video, you just want the very direct answer, that answer is no. No! Okay, there you go. But in this video, I'm going to really detail why it's not saturated, and to be honest, why it will never get saturated. That's something else as well. Yes, it's not saturated right now, but you may be thinking, yeah, but in a year's time or 2 years time or 5 years time, it will be saturated eventually. But after you've gone through this video, you'll realize why it's not saturated and why it will never ever get saturated. So for this point, I want to talk about two client stories that I've got to really drill home the point, right? That point though is that every other agency, or maybe not every other agency, but a lot of the other agencies out there simply aren't good agencies, okay? And that's a very, very big, it's a very, very murky topic that doesn't get spoken about ever in this, kind of YouTube SMMA scene, if you like, right? Everybody can say that they own an agency. Everybody can say that, oh, I've got 3 clients, or I've got 10 clients, or whatever. But what people don't speak about is whether or not they're actually a good agency to the business, right? Whether they're actually getting really, really good results, whether their communication and their systems and all this other different type of stuff that comes into play, for a good agency. A lot of the times, all those things for those other agency owners aren't in place. So they're not a good agency. And so if you just actually focus on the client, your client focus, you ensure that your services and what you're actually offering to clients is of high value, you are already in just a whole new dimension where there isn't a lot of competition, right? And as I say, I want to talk about 2 client stories, right? So one client is actually a very, very established brand, and they were working with a previous agency before we came on board. They were spending anywhere from 50 to 60,000. So this client came on board, I think February 1st of 2020 this year. And they were working with this previous agency, I believe like November last year till like January, February, right? And as I say, their results were absolutely terrible, but this agency wasn't like an SMMA owner. This was one of those very, very big established agencies, but they couldn't get results. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say is, when it comes to you thinking, is it saturated or is the competition, is it too high? I won't be able to get any clients because the competition, all that type of stuff. Well, if you can actually deliver results, you don't even get put into this group where there is probably quite a lot of competition. You're in a whole new segment of the industry and there's nobody else in there, or there's very, very few other agencies in that kind of segment that can actually get results. So straight away, there's no competition if you can deliver results. And obviously, for those of you that have been through the Quantum Agency program, in the service delivery section of the program, I mean, that alone ensures that you can get your client results. So many students of that program deliver obscene results for their clients. And so just by them, going through that service delivery week, they're already in a whole different section of, agencies out there, agency owners out there. So as I say, that's the first point. Like, there's literally no competition at that point if you can just actually deliver on what you're saying. And another client story as well. Now, this one's not about other agencies, but it just goes to show the power of actually getting results, right? So we had another client, and I suppose he actually did get burnt. So he's worked with a whole heap of previous agencies in the past, and just nobody has ever delivered on what they said they would deliver on, right? Actually get good results. And so when we came on board, or when I had jumped on a call with him and whatnot, he personally was running the ads himself, and he was getting around a 1.4 ROAS, 1.3 ROAS, and he was, as I say, he was running the ads himself. And then we came on board, and the first like 2 weeks, I would say, we didn't actually increase results drastically. It was nothing crazy like that. But that's, I mean, if you've ever had a client before, you know the process of getting results. It's never like just instant. You get amazing results. There is a process to it. It does take a bit of time. But now, I mean, we're 3 months in with this new client, or not new anymore, with this client, and I think we've basically tripled the results. And this is actually an info product client, so not the e-commerce niche, but it's very, very heavily tied in together. And yeah, he is absolutely ecstatic with working with us. And also something else that he told us is that we're the most expensive agency that he's ever worked with. All right, he's on a $4,500 a month retainer, $4,500 a month retainer, and that is the most expensive agency that he's ever worked with. But he absolutely loves us because we're actually delivering on, first things first, what we said we were going to deliver on. And as I say, just overall, we've gotten better results than any other agency he's ever worked with. And so he loves us, even though we're like 2x more than all the other agencies he's worked with, 3x more in some cases, 4x more, etc., etc. So it comes down to just actually being able to deliver results. And that's the first point. So that's point number one. Okay. And first things first, I apologize if you can hear any background noise. There's actually some workers at the house today. So I apologize for that if you can hear it. But point number two, let's get straight into point number two, right? And this is going to be more statistical, right? I just wanted to show you some cold, hard facts. Right now, at the point of recording this, September 2020, right? There is more than 24 million e-commerce brands. That's not info product, that's e-commerce brands. 24 million, more than 24 million, right? Do you not think that you could take 20 of those brands, 15 of those brands, 10 of those brands, 5 of those brands, and have them pay you 4K a month, 5K a month, 8K a month, 3K a month? Do you not think that? Out of 24 million brands. This is ridiculous. So, and I can guarantee you 110% there is, I don't actually know how many agencies, but I guarantee it's probably under 5 million, probably under 3, 2, 1. I don't actually know. And that's agencies as a whole. That's not agencies just in the e-commerce niche, bear in mind. So those agencies that are in the e-commerce niche, that'll be even lower again. Probably up maybe, I don't know, couple thousand in the e-commerce niche. And again, even further down than that, there's probably only 1,000, maybe 2,000 in the world that can actually get results. And that's tying back in with the first point. Maybe not even that many, right? So that's the first thing. The second point, right, is that by 2022, so in 2 years at this point, or 1 year at this point, whatever, it's estimated that $6 trillion will go through in online transactions, right? $6 trillion will be paid in online transactions, will go through e-commerce brands. And so given that, the 6 trillion, that also means that more e-commerce or more businesses as a whole will transition onto the e-commerce or into e-commerce, and also brand new e-commerce businesses will just spawn as well, given that really everything moving forward is transitioning online. So then again, given that there's currently 24 million e-com brands, in a couple years, because everything's going online, that 24 million will go to 50 million. That'll go to then 60 million. It's only going to get more untapped as we move forward, because as we move forward, more and more and more and more is transitioning online. So it's only going to get more untapped, which means you're going to have far more to choose from. You see where I'm going? So that's another reason why moving forward, it's going to go the opposite way to what you think. You think, oh, it's going to get more saturated. But to be honest, I personally think it's going to go the complete opposite way. It's going to get less saturated. It's going to get less untapped. And also another kind of just statistic to drill this point home is that by 2023, it's estimated that 90.8% of purchases worldwide will be through online retailers, will be through e-commerce brands, in other words. So, I mean, do you not think that you could get 10 clients for your agency, 20 clients for your agency, if you really want to scale, 25, 30, maybe even 40 clients, even 40 clients? Do you not think that out of, as I say, in a couple of years, it'll be 30 million plus e-commerce brands, 6 trillion in online transactions, and 90.8% of all purchases in the world will be through online? Do you not think that you could get 40 of those e-commerce brands? Never mind 5 or 10. See what I mean? Moving forward, guys, honestly, the e-commerce niche, it's right now it's not saturated, but moving forward, as I mentioned, it's going to get even less saturated, so you have literally nothing to worry about. And also this last point's just a bit more like logic, I suppose, and this is not really going into whether this e-commerce niche is saturated or not. This is just to do with your outreach. Now, if you reach out the same way that all these other agencies are reaching out, it doesn't matter how saturated the niche is at that point, you won't get any results. You won't get any clients, you won't get any interest in people working with your agency, etc, etc. You just won't, because you're just the same. There's no reason why this specific brand should work with you over this agency, right? There's no reason. So this third point is really just, if you take a different approach, if you actually put effort into your outreach, you, as I say, take a different approach, you differentiate yourself from the other agencies out there. Because like I say, yeah, it's not saturated, but there still is other agencies out there trying to get e-commerce clients. I'm not taking that away. There is definitely e-commerce agencies out there, right? And I must admit as well, these e-commerce brands that you ought to reach out to, they will be having a lot of agencies be reaching out to them as well. I'll say that, right? And so if you just do the same outreach method as, or not method, but the same outreach approach as those agencies, yeah, you won't get any clients. But if you just differentiate yourself, you put time into your outreach, you put research into your outreach, and you actually go about outreach in a way that differentiates yourself from everybody else, that actually resonates with the brand that you're reaching out to, that speaks to them directly, not some terrible script that you send to 4 million brands each and every day, right? If you go about it in that way, you're gonna have such a higher success rate. I can tell you firsthand, I see it in the private mastermind Facebook group for the Quantum Agency program. Students are routinely signing clients, and even you know a step down from signing clients, just students getting responses. They get responses that and the e-commerce brands are literally hopping on a call with them just because they loved their outreach so much. Like literally, just because they go about it in a different way, they go about it in a unique way. And when you do go about it in that way, and you couple that with a proven outreach method, guys, getting e-commerce clients is so easy. And then you can go ahead and slap on a ROAS deal at the end of that client's retainer, you know, $2,500 a month retainer, 15% ROAS, whatever it is. And at that point, I mean, scaling an e-commerce brand, e-commerce agency is so simple. And that's why I routinely tell you guys that the e-commerce niche for your SMMA is hands down the best niche that there is. And you know, don't even worry, don't even think about the fact that the e-commerce niche is saturated or anything like that, because it's not. I've just told you cold hard facts. And as I said, given those cold hard facts, moving forward, it's literally going to be less untapped, right? So it only makes sense to move forward in the e-commerce niche. But let me know your thoughts below. I know probably a lot of you are going to be like, oh, you know, you're going to have a couple comments potentially to say about this video, but if you do, more than happy to hear them, and I'll be going ahead and responding to everyone in the comments. So let me know your thoughts below. Smash the like button if you did enjoy the video. I hope it brought some clarity to you as well as to whether you should get into the e-commerce niche, whether you shouldn't. Is it saturated? Is it not? As I say, I hope it brought some clarity around that. And with that being said, I will see you in the next video.